Spice and Wolf, Volume 24, Spring Log 7 by Asuna Hasakura. Lawrence and Holo, the traveling merchant and wise wolf duo, find their tranquil journey downriver, interrupted by news of political turmoil in the port city of Carlin. Opting to avoid potential trouble, they disembark at a riverside checkpoint and consider their options. Here, they encounter Meyer Linda, a young forest ranger with an air of refinement, who pleads for their help in protecting the Tonnenberg woods from a plan to clear-cut the trees for lumber and build a road through the forest. Holo, a lover of forests, is immediately swayed by Meyer's plea and the promise of delicious forest fare. Lawrence, however, remains cautious, aware of the complexities of human affairs and the potential dangers of interfering in political matters. He expresses concern that saving the forest might not be the best course of action for the people who rely on the land for their livelihood. Despite his reservations, Lawrence, swayed by Holo's desire and his own sense of responsibility for the situation stemming from his actions in Salonia, agrees to help. They journey to Tonnenberg and meet with the village mayor, an elderly man who explains the critical role the forest undergrowth plays in supporting the local economy. The undergrowth serves as feed for livestock, whose manure is essential for fertilizing the wheat fields that sustain the region. The mayor reveals that Lord Tonnenberg has agreed to Carlin's proposal to exploit the forest due to a combination of factors: the lure of profit from the lumber trade, the prospect of new industries, and a desire to dispel accusations of heresy directed at the Tonnenberg family for their long-standing protection of the forest. Meyer adds that the Lord has likely miscalculated the long-term consequences of deforestation, both for the environment and the economy. Lawrence, understanding the dire situation, hatches a plan with Holo. They aim to demonstrate the immense cost and danger of developing the forest by exaggerating the threat posed by wolves, enlisting the help of Holo's wolfkin to stage attacks on survey teams. However, their plans take an unexpected turn when Lord Matthias himself arrives, seeking Lawrence's expertise in evaluating Carlin's proposal. Matthias reveals his own misgivings about the deal and the pressure he faces due to the family's debt and the accusations of heresy. He confides in Lawrence that he suspects the representative from the Twilight Cardinals camp, a woman named Eve Bolin, might be manipulating the situation for personal gain. This revelation shocks Lawrence, as Eve is a former adversary turned ally and a close friend of Colin Muri. He struggles to reconcile this information with his understanding of Eve's character. Lawrence and Holo travel to Carlin to confront Eve, finding her hosting a lavish banquet in a bustling tavern. Amidst the revelry, Lawrence confronts Eve, accusing her of exploiting Cole's name and indulging in excessive profits at the expense of the Tonnenberg woods. However, Holo reveals that she has known of Eve's intentions for some time and assures Lawrence that Eve is not acting maliciously. Eve explains that she is indeed acquiring lumber for the Twilight Cardinals' cause, but not at the cost of Tonnenberg's well-being. She is bartering wool for lumber at market price and facilitating the development of Carlin as a new trade hub for southern merchants who are facing difficulties due to the church conflict. Eve further reveals that the true reason behind Carlin's eagerness to acquire lumber and expand their trade is to accommodate the influx of refugees displaced by the religious turmoil instigated by Cole and Muri. The lumber will be used to build houses and ships to transport these refugees to the kingdom of Winfield. While Lawrence is relieved that Eve's actions are not driven by greed, he still sees the potential for imbalance and unfairness in the deal. Carlin and Tonnenberg face significant risks, while Eve stands to gain considerably. Additionally, Kerub, a rival port city, is actively trying to hinder Carlin's plans to protect its own trade interests. Eve enlists Lawrence's help to negotiate with Kerube, taking advantage of his connections with the Rowan Trade Guild and Keeman, the current leader of Kerub. In Kerub, Lawrence discovers that the city's concerns are not solely driven by competition, but also by a desire to maintain its social welfare programs, which rely heavily on the wool trade. Eve's actions are jeopardizing their access to wool, putting the city's most vulnerable citizens at risk. Lawrence and Keeman, seeking a solution that benefits all parties, spend the night brainstorming. They realize that the key to resolving the situation lies in finding a way to diversify trade and lessen the reliance on lumber as the primary commodity. Lawrence, drawing upon his knowledge of ancient trade routes and Holo's understanding of the land, proposes a plan to utilize the abundant water resources in Teutoburg to develop a wool processing industry. This would create a new trade chain, with Karub supplying wool, Teutoburg processing it into fabric, and Karlin exporting the finished goods. Lawrence presents this plan to Matthias, emphasizing the potential for economic growth and the preservation of the forest. He convinces Matthias to take ownership of the plan and present it to Karlin and Karubi as his own initiative. This way, Teutoburg gains control over the project and its profits, while Karlin and Karubi secure a reliable source of woolen goods and a new trade route. The plan is met with enthusiasm by all parties, effectively resolving the conflict and ensuring the future of the Teutoburg woods. Eve, though initially frustrated by the turn of events, ultimately accepts the outcome, acknowledging the ingenuity of Lawrence's solution and the positive impact it will have on Cole and Muri's endeavors. In the end, Lawrence and Holo, having played a pivotal role in shaping the fate of the region, decide to continue their journey, seeking new experiences and leaving behind a legacy of collaboration and ingenuity. Eve advises them against visiting Cole and Muri for the time being, suggesting that their reunion might inadvertently attract unwanted attention and complicate their children's work. Lawrence and Holo, trusting Eve's judgment, embrace the open road, content in the knowledge that their children are safe and thriving in their own world. As they travel, they reflect on the lessons learned, the bonds strengthened, and the joy of shared experiences, reaffirming their commitment to each other and the journey ahead. If you enjoyed this summary, please consider subscribing to the channel.